Stop the trailer. Stop scrolling.
Don't listen to the hype about Collie returning or Max waking up, because you all missed the single most important frame in the new Volume 2 trailer. I've watched the new footage 47 times since it dropped yesterday, frame by frame, at 0.25x speed, and I found something that Netflix definitely didn't intend for us to see this clearly. Everyone is talking about the "if you die, I die" line between Steve and Dustin as a red herring, a way to scare us.
But I found the proof that it's not a threat, it's a promise. At the 1 minute and 52-second mark, during that chaotic sequence in the Camazotz cave, there is a single frame hidden inside a flash of blue lightning that confirms our worst nightmare. It's not a theory anymore. The framing, the lighting, and the specific wound visible in this split-second shot mirror the exact cinematic language the Duffer Brothers used for Eddie Munson and Bob Newby.
Today, I am going to break down the hidden frame that proves Steve Harrington does not make it out of Episode 6 alive, and why his sacrifice is actually the key to unlocking the time loop that saves Hawkins. If you are a Steve fan, take a deep breath because this is going to hurt. Let's get right into the evidence. Go to the new trailer and pause at exactly 1:52.
In motion, this shot looks like just another action beat, Steve swinging his nail bat at a swarm of those new bat creatures we're calling the Camazotz brood. But if you go frame by frame, catch the moment the lightning strikes the stalactites behind him. For exactly 3 frames, the lighting shifts from the standard upside-down red to a harsh, exposing white-blue strobe. In that flash, look at the left side of Steve's abdomen.
It's not just dirty or torn. There is a distinct dark puncture pattern that matches the 3-pronged claw marks of the Camazotz monster we saw earlier in the teaser. But here is the smoking gun. Look at his eyes. In every other shot of Steve fighting in this show, whether it was the Demogorgon in Season 1 or the Demobats in Season 4, Steve is focused, angry, screaming a battle cry. In this hidden frame, his eyes are wide, his mouth is slack, and he is looking down at his chest. The bat is slipping from his grip. This isn't a fight scene, guys. This is a death scene. We are looking at the exact moment the life leaves his eyes, spliced brilliantly into a montage to look like an attack. This is the same editing trick they pulled with Volume 1, where they hid Will's capture in a fast montage. Netflix knows we analyze these things, but they slipped up on the lighting continuity.
The blood pattern on his vest in the next shot, where he's on his knees, matches this wound perfectly. To understand why this frame is definitively fatal, we have to look at the dialogue that precedes it. That line, "If you die, I die," which Steve says to Dustin in the rusted-out bus, isn't just a buddy cop catchphrase. It is narrative foreshadowing.
In screenwriting, when a character makes an absolute statement about their survival being tied to someone else's, the writers are setting up a cruel irony. Dustin is currently the brain of the party, the one trying to solve the riddle of the Camazotz labyrinth. Steve is the protector. The tragedy that Season 5 is setting up is that Steve will have to break that promise to keep it. He has to die so that Dustin doesn't. If you look closely at the hidden frame again, look at the background.
Who is blurred out in the distance behind Steve? It's Dustin, struggling with the vines. This confirms that Steve isn't dying alone. He is dying while holding the line. He is taking the hit from the Alpha Camazotz to buy Dustin the 3 seconds he needs to open the gate. It's the ultimate fulfillment of his arc, from the selfish King Steve of Season 1, who cared about his hair and his status, to the martyr of Season 5, who gives up his future so the weirdo kid can have one.
The Duffer Brothers have a specific visual language for death, and this hidden frame follows it to the letter. Think back to Bob Newby in Season 2. Just before the demo dogs got him, there was a moment of silence, a slow-motion realization, and a specific camera angle looking up at him from a low angle. Now think of Eddie in Season 4, the slow-motion scream, the realization that he wasn't running away this time. Now look at the hidden frame of Steve again. It is a low-angle shot.
The camera is looking up at him as he falls. This hero's fall angle is only used when a character is sacrificing themselves. If Steve were just getting injured, the camera would be at eye level or shaky, putting us in the action. By placing the camera low and slowing down his fall, which you can see if you play the clip at 0.25x, the director is telling us to revere this moment.
They are memorializing him before he even hits the ground. Furthermore, the lighting in this frame, that harsh, heavenly blue strobe, symbolizes ascension. It's the same lighting used when Max was levitating. It separates Steve from the red hell of the Upside Down and marks him as a savior figure. Let's talk about the monster that does this. We know from the episode titles that Episode 6 is Escape from Camazotz. In Mayan mythology, Camazotz is the death bat that inhabits the House of Bats in the underworld.
In the myths, the hero twins have to spend the night in the House of Bats. One of them peeks their head out to see if the sun has risen, and Camazotz snatches their head off. It is a story about impatience and sacrifice. Steve has always been the impatient one, the one who charges in first. This hidden frame suggests that Steve makes a move, perhaps trying to rush the escape, and gets punished by the alphabet. This isn't just a random monster attack. It is a mythological reenactment.
The wound in the hidden frame is on his left side, near the heart. Camazotz in folklore attacks the neck or heart. The specificity of the lore here is terrifying. The Duffer Brothers aren't just killing him, they are sacrificing him to the mythology of the season. There is a second piece of evidence that corroborates the Steve death frame. At 2:14 in the trailer, there's a shot of Dustin screaming. Most people think he is screaming at Vecna, but look at his eyes. He isn't looking up at a giant mind monster. He is looking down and forward at something on the ground level. And look at the lighting on Dustin's face. It's the same blue strobe from Steve's death frame. Dustin is watching Steve die. The raw devastation on Gaten Matarasso's face in that split second is different from his scared acting. That is grief acting. We also see Lucas grabbing Dustin's shoulder, holding him back. Why would Lucas hold Dustin back if they were just fighting a monster?
You hold someone back when there is nothing left to do, when the person they love is already gone, and you need to stop them from joining them. That restraint from Lucas confirms that the body on the ground is beyond saving. Now, I know the comments are going to be full of people saying, but we saw Steve in the finale set photos, or they wouldn't kill him in episode 6. But remember the white door theory we discussed last week?
The trailer shows Eleven walking through a white door in the void. There is a massive theory that Volume 2 involves a time reset or a timeline merge. What if Steve does die in Episode 6, proven by this frame, and his death is the catalyst that forces Eleven to rewrite history in the finale? This would explain why we might see him in the finale scenes. It could be a flashback, or a reset timeline where he is alive but doesn't remember the others. But for the stakes of Volume 2, specifically the escape from Camazotz, someone has to pay the toll. The narrative rules of Stranger Things dictate that the escape isn't free. Hopper died to close the gate. Billy died to stop the mind flare. Eddie died to distract the bats. To escape the Camazotz, the House of Death, a life must be left behind. Steve is the only character whose death carries enough weight to break the audience before the final movie. From a script writing perspective, Steve is the perfect victim. His arc is complete. He has made amends with Nancy, he has mentored Dustin, and he has transformed from a villain to a hero. There is nowhere left for his character to go except into legend. If he survives, what happens? He goes back to selling insurance? No. Steve Harrington is a tragic hero. His death resolves the love triangle with Nancy and Jonathan without making Nancy choose, which the writers hate doing. It forces Dustin to grow up instantly, turning him into the leader for the finale. It gives the group a personal vengeance motivation against Vecna that they haven't felt since Season 3. And let's be honest, the hidden frame shows a wound that is not survivable. We aren't talking about a bite on the leg. We are talking about a transthoracic puncture in the Upside Down, with no hospital, no medical supplies, and active monsters swarming. Even if he survives the initial hit, the infection or blood loss gets him in minutes.
Could this be a vision? A Vecna hallucination? We have to consider it. Vecna loves to show the characters their worst fears.
Dustin's worst fear is Steve dying. It is entirely possible that what I found in this hidden frame is a nightmare sequence projected into Dustin's mind to paralyze him. However, usually, Vecna's visions have a surreal, dreamlike quality: fog, red tint, distorted audio. This shot at 152 is visceral. It has the gritty, sharp texture of reality. The physics of the blood splatter, the dust rising from the ground, it looks too real to be a mind trick.
Plus, the stakes of the penultimate episodes require real consequences. If this turns out to be just a dream, it cheapens the tension of the Camazotz escape. The Duffer Brothers promised us a body count in Season 5. They said it wouldn't be safe anymore. Showing a death this graphic in a hidden frame of a trailer is exactly how you signal to the hardcore fans that the safety wheels are off. So, what does this mean for us on December 26th? It means we need to prepare ourselves.
The frame at 152 is the smoking gun. Steve Harrington, the babysitter, the king, is going to face the Camazotz, and he is going to lose. But in losing, he wins. He saves Dustin. He secures the escape route. He fulfills the promise of if you die, I die, by flipping it. I die so you don't. When you watch episode 6 and you see that blue lightning start to flash and you see Steve separate from the group to hold off the swarm, remember this video. Remember that we saw it coming.
Go look at the wound pattern and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that's not a Camazotz claw mark. I want to be wrong. I really do. But the evidence is undeniable. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because as soon as Volume 2 drops, I will be doing a live stream breakdown of the aftermath. We are going to need a support group for this one, guys. Comment down below. Do you think Steve can survive a wound like that? Or is this the end of the line for Harrington? I'll see you in the comments. And remember, friends don't lie, but trailers definitely try to hide the truth.